Hey y'all, this is Anna Alexander and welcome to Dish About the Dish, where the foods we eat tell the stories of our lives. And joining me today is Harlequin Intrigue author, say that 10 times fast, and entrepreneur Danica Winters. So let's go. I got something special just for you.
I'm so excited. Okay.
You see?
I almost grabbed my gallon jug of it because I was like, oh, but would that make me look like an alcoholic? Probably. So I did the opposite for you. And I don't have Jameson, but I have Crown. So I was like, okay, we're close.
What are you making? What drink are you making?
So I am very fancy and I take the apple and just like Diet Sprite. It's my fall drink. It's so good. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's my Halloween special. All of my friends come over around this time of year and have some with me. So I'm glad you're here.
Excellent. I made a cocktail out of the International Bartender's Guidebook. It is called the Aquaduct. And it has an ounce and a half of the vodka, half ounce of lime juice, quarter ounce of Curacao, the orange Curacao, which is a to try to find, and a quarter of an ounce of Apricot Brandy.
Cheers, my dear friend.
With an orange twist. Cheer your ears. I haven't seen, you know what's crazy? This last time I saw you was just before everything shut down.
I know.
My last time being out with people.
Right. And mine too. It's been nuts, and I am tired of Zoom, but I really am glad we are doing this. Obviously, I've normally have my background fuzzed out, but today I'm behind, so it just is you get to see all my books. And but you know what? I have my FBI guide behind me. That's pretty cool. The last major trip I did was Seattle, and I was out there teaching, and it was amazing. And I look back down, I'm like, I wish that would have been a whole week, because it just wasn't enough time with my friends. So yeah.
Okay, so let me just ask you the first question I always ask everybody, which is, Miss Danica, what is your most memorable meal for any reason?
Oh, memorable meal. That's a good question. I have the worst Thanksgivings. Every Thanksgiving, I just hate it. And it's not because Thanksgiving. I mean, whatever. But when I cook Thanksgiving, it's a week-long fest of food, where I bake the first day so the kids can eat while I'm doing all the other preamble stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So Thanksgiving meal, I just get it on the table. I'm getting the buns from the oven that are handmade dough, the whole shebang, right? Mm-hmm. And my kid unleashes exorcism all over my Thanksgiving table. In the mashed potato. 3 years ago,
okay.
4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, he was 7 or 8 maybe. And but you're old enough to know better. But at the same time, I'm so sorry you're sick. And that's my Thanksgiving dinner. Oh my God. And it was a table full of people, and my aunt and uncle are there, and they're not they don't have kids. And so they were trying to be all cool about it. And it was awful. So Thanksgivings, I just am Chinese food. Let's go. Officially now. Yeah.
When I moved to Vegas.
What about you?
I'm
in. You want to go to Vegas, girl? I'm there.
Well, I lived in Vegas, so when I first moved to Vegas, that was the big exciting thing, was we were going to do Thanksgiving at the buffet. And that's what we did. Next to our house was the Suncoast Hotel and Casino, and we went there for Thanksgiving buffet.
Oh, I like it. If I lived in Vegas, I think that would be my thing. Maybe I'm going to start a new tradition and follow you, or I guess join your tradition.
I think my Thanksgiving 2 years ago was at my first time at my old house for the first time. And for some reason, that turkey would not cook. It would not cook.
No.
And so my grandmother was over, and she kept going, "Is the baby done? Is the baby done? When is the baby going to be done?" And that's what she kept calling the turkey, was the baby. "Is the baby done yet?" And I was like, "No, not yet." And it was a good hour after everything else was done that the
Oh,
turkey
I've had
is ready.
experiences. Do you always cook? Well, you went to Vegas, so
Yes.
do you normally cook Thanksgiving? Okay. Because
Yes.
it is a fiasco.
Yes.
It is like a whole thing.
I will do the turkey and the stuffing because everyone likes, cause my stuffing is actually my ex-grandmother-in-law's stuffing.
Okay.
So I will do that. And then the family will bring whatever to go accompany it. But I've had on occasion finished the turkey as soon as it's done, thrown it in the trunk and driven to wherever we're going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I always end up doing which is fine. I don't mind doing it. I just don't like cleaning up carcass. Oh,
I'm with you.
which is my next question for you.
Carcasses. Yes. Oh, sorry. Okay, what?
So, because you do something that a lot of people are kind of like, which is you're a hunter. Yes?
I don't talk about that. That is just like, this is the first year it's been openly discussed. Like I have hunted since I was a baby. Like I was out with my mom. So yeah, I've spent a whole life in the woods. And it was something I hid for years. Like it's not because I'm not proud of it. It's just so controversial. And
yes.
So I've done a lot of different types of hunting, and I've done a lot of hunting in different areas. And this year I went to Texas. That was my one time I left, and it was very like masked the whole time, and we tried to behave. And then like we everybody was vaccinated, and like the hunting that we do in Montana is a very different beast than it is in some other areas in the US. So yeah, and I feel like I'm not doing hunters justice, but so for people who don't know where I'm at, I'm actually in Western Montana. And when I grew up, we didn't have a lot of money. So we used hunting and basically subsistence living to survive. So that was how I grew up. I actually didn't eat beef until I was about 11 years old. And so, yeah, again, it's not something I talk about a lot, but yeah, it's just a lifestyle here. So
because I talked to Wayne, I don't know if you remember Wayne from Passport to Romance Pass, because he hunts as well. And so he hunts like a lot of deer and elk and such. Is that what you all hunt for in Montana, or is it?
So my daughter is actually just turned 15. And she's super interested in becoming a huntress, which is kind of cool to me. Like, I'm like, if especially as a female, we're kind of a rare breed that we are involved in this kind of sport. Yeah, I took her duck hunting a few weeks ago, and that was a really fun experience. It was mostly us walking around in the woods and the forest and the plains, and it was really fun. So yeah, it's passing traditions. So
well, especially somebody who grew up with it as a staple to your pantry, I'm sure it gives you a better appreciation for where your food comes from. Because I think a lot of people don't think about where their food comes from, and therefore they don't appreciate how things get to their table.
Well, that's like the normal answer for why people, say they hunt. And that's totally true. I mean, we, a couple of years that I've come back to hunting, because there was a lot of years I didn't hunt in the middle. Especially when I was really busy with the business and really busy writing, and I was like, I don't have ducks and doing all the things. COVID, beef was like pretty hard to come by here. Meat was really hard to come by. It was expensive when you could get it, and so it came back to it. And I was like, there's a reason. And I didn't understand this as a child and was growing up. I did, but I kind of lost touch with it until COVID happened. And I was like, okay. So this year I've spent a lot in the last year and a half, I guess, or 2 years now.
Yeah.
I've been spending a lot of time canning and growing gardens and doing subsistence living. And it's been really fun, actually, especially the gardening side of things. And this week, I think I canned 40 pounds of tomatoes. And I think I did maybe 80 cups of shredded zucchini. Like, it's that time of year here. So I had to take my nails off because I had like artificial nails. The acrylics, and so I was doing so much canning, like, this isn't working. So it's it's funny how like your worlds collide sometimes, and you're like, the person I want to be and the person that I have to be are not melding well right now, but whatever. Yeah, interesting conversation, Anna. Thanks. I'm showing my redneck right now.
No, because I want to introduce to people just the idea of food and cooking, and also how it forms your memories of your lives and whatnot. And so, especially people who don't hunt, maybe in people who might be like aversion to it, like, no, there's an ethical way to do it, and there's a non-ethical way to do it. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And like, we put so much effort into our animals and procuring our animals and taking care of our animals and processing. I don't even use butchers. Like, I do everything from hiking and finding the animals, knowing their migration patterns, to actually making burger and then smoking it in the smoker and feeding the kids. Like, it's like everything. So, I mean, we're in it. Yeah, I'm up to talking about hunting, and I'm finding in this finding, like, in the last year, people are starting to be more open-minded about it. Yeah, because we could open the controversy up, but in the end, it's how we feed our families. So
right. I'm going to move to a different topic, same but different, which is like when I watch
but it's interesting you break that. Okay, I'm not swamp people, but yeah, I get
no, swamp people. But with swamp people, for example, they hunt gators because it's taking over everything. It is population control for both the gator safety and the people's safety. So you might go, but at the same time, you have to look at what's happening to your ecosystem and go, okay, we have to fix this somehow.
Yeah, and it's interesting you bring that up, Anna, because I have been doing a book on game wardens right now. That's what I'm writing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been doing ride-alongs. Like, I think we've done like 2 or 3 now. And he takes me way back in the woods in places I've never been. And like, but we get to talking about the ethics and the morality of hunting and what people are doing wrong and what people are doing right and how to implement this across the US. And Montana has a really cool system where we actually have what's called block management. So it opens up accesses to private land, and they get paid through the state for it. And so other states have started to adopt that program, and it's neat because what it ends up doing, and right now what we're facing here in Montana is what's called blue tongue. My red neck is showing again, but it's okay, I swear. So blue tongue is a hemorrhagic disease that is caused by biting flies in wetlands.
Okay.
And it hit Missoula, where I'm at, Missoula Valley, like 5-10 years ago, and it ended up decimating the deer population. And you'd be like walking on a forested trail, like for a park, and you'd run across tons of dead deer. And it was because of this overpopulation that happens in like urban fronts, in wetland zones. And so, the better regulation they have on hunting, the more it helps with that kind of stuff. And this year, again, blue tongue has returned because the deer populations here are too high. And so we're seeing an influx again, and especially more in the east side of the state, of all these deer, like mass die-offs. And so I think it's more ethical than letting the animals suffer. So yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
So is this a Harlequin Intrigue book that you're researching?
Game warden one is, and it's actually about grizzly bears. Because imagine that, I run into bears all the time. I actually have ran into a lot of bears in my life. But yeah, it's about trapping this bear, and it's kind of like it's a murder mystery.
Okay.
And they find a kid in a bear trap.
It's a Harlequin Intrigue.
Yeah.
Usually
like some people don't know what intrigue is. Like, they're just like, oh yeah, it's like one of those purple novels. I'm like, yeah, it's the purple novel. It's actually kind of cool. Like, if you meet the intrigue authors, they're all kind of like me. Like, we're kind of like this weird sisterhood of people that they aggregated from across the United States that have never met, but are like carbon copies of each other. It's very funny. It's very funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely have similar voices, all of us that write for that line. So yeah. It's weird because like we could all be like, let's go. and then like most of them are outdoorsy like me, where they're hunters or fisherwomen. And yeah, a lot of them are teachers and journalists. So or were. So
yeah.
Well, I saw your Algonquin.
Yeah, I just did that.
I'm like, I totally fell over my tongue there, but you know what I mean.
That was the last cocktail I made.
So I didn't see the video because I was trying to get ready, but like, so it turned out less than you just like were hoping for.
So this is the funny thing with these drinks. Okay, so I'm using the International Bartender's Guidebook, and I started with the first one, and I'm making it. My goal is to make every single cocktail in it.
Oh, okay.
And in my head, I think if I'm making the cocktail, I'm going to enjoy it. But there's no way I'm going to enjoy 1,200 plus cocktails. So sometimes I'll get one that's really good and surprising, and sometimes I'll get ones that are like, this is not good, and who would enjoy this?
Right?
So the last one, it basically tastes like wet burning, and there's really no flavor to it. And I'm like, and somebody enjoyed this enough to name it and have it be repeated since the 1930s. It's in people's repertoire. I was like, So I don't know if I made it wrong or if it's just not a good cocktail. But I'm always surprised when they're not good because I'm like, it's supposed to be good, right? It's in the book.
But maybe they just keep repeating it. I don't know. They just build around it and assume other people like it. Kind of like you, like somebody likes this cider, so we're gonna keep the recipe. Or it's just an homage to like the flappers.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I made the first couple recipes were gin, and I'm not a gin drinker. And then I realized, this is Prohibition era drinks, bathtub gin. They didn't really have bleach then. So did your bathtub gin taste like people? Could you tell whose gin was who by the flavor?
Like, probably true.
This tastes like the Smiths.
Oh.
No, I just
I've discovered that I like gin this year. I know. I have always had an aversion to it. I'm like, it tastes like pine needles and juniper, and I'm like, ugh. Yeah. But something happened. Maybe it's COVID. I don't know. And I was like, you know what? With elderberry, it's pretty good. I can do this drink. Yeah. Yeah, but I heard, okay, so this is probably TMI, but like I heard that it makes women horny, and I was like, yeah, let's try that.
This one's actually nice. It's get a little bit of the citrus, and I don't taste vodka, so it's just a nice, it's a little refreshing cocktail. I don't know if this is something I would actually go order out at a bar, but if someone were to hand this to me, I would go, thank you very much. I will enjoy this. Yeah.
It sounds fantastic.
Tito's your boy.
Tito's is my boy.
What is it about Tito's that you enjoy over other varietals? Because there's a bajillion of them out there.
There are a bajillion of them. So vodka should be flavorless.
Okay.
And when you said I can't taste the vodka, that means it's Tito's. Yeah. Because it's supposed to just add alcohol to like whatever other flavors you're having. So you want to have that like overtone of citrus if that's what you're making with it. So basically, like, it's the catch-all of booze. It's fantastic because like I can add it to like grape juice and be like, oh, it's super yummy. And like all my girlfriends who don't drink, they're like, oh, this is great. And I'm like, I know, because I added it to whatever tea or whatever you're drinking that you already are enjoying and you don't notice it. And so is it healthy drinking? No, probably not. But what is healthy drinking, I guess? I guess the last year though, I've been more into like whiskeys and bourbons, and because like I just like a slow sip kind of drink. Yeah. Where you want to taste the tannins and you want to taste the oak and those kinds of things. I guess I got to liquor thanks to Tito's. Yeah. And it was funny. I went to Austin and there was no Tito's anywhere. And I'm like, it's distilled in Austin. Like how do you not have Tito's at every bar, you know? And I'm like, you're everywhere. Yeah. But we have a really good distillery here in Missoula. It's called the Montgomery. And I actually like their vodka, but it actually has a flavor and it's more like a caramel finish. So when I want a vodka with like flavor, that's what I think. So what's your last book that came out? Miss 4. I had 4 this last year. Let's see. I think I have one sitting here. This one. It's I just put it away, the Canine Recovery. And that one actually hit bestsellers list, Miss USA Today by 2 spots, and I was super pissed. Oh. And then the one before it was this one, The Judge's Secret. So yeah, the Canine Recovery one was really, really fun to write because I actually worked with the Gallatin canine unit, the law enforcement canine unit. And they had me running through the graveyards at like 4 a.m. in the dark with this big Rottweiler chasing me. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. And then they had the German Shepherds out there and they had and the one German Shepherd was like huge. It was black and it looked like a bear. And I was like, oh, this is terrifying and so much fun. So the stuff I get to do with the books is just really, really cool. And that one was one of those instances where I was like, this is why I write. So right now I'm working with the game warden, and then the series is that I'm going to start doing here is like a rescue series. So it's going to be search and rescue. So I've been kind of working with that crew as far as like active cases here in Montana, and like there was a plane crash. So I think that's going to be one of the 6, but we'll see what happens. I mean, it's fun. So I'm all over the place.
Oh, yeah. That's excellent though. But I'm glad you're productive and still doing well, because I so enjoy spending time with you as a person, not just a writer.
I know, like-minded people. Thank you. Come to me.
And I will post all your links in the description below so people can find you. So thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thanks, Anna. And if you ever want to do it again, I'm here. I enjoy visiting. We can drink and have conversations. So.
Excellent. Yeah. Cheers.
I want to again thank Danica for joining me today. All of the links to her social media and books are down in the description box below. Please go and check her out. And we would enjoy also if you came and visited us again. So until next time, y'all.